Hi y'all, bama.dell here, aka Bike Lane Ends on Twitter and YouTube. So like that old Pointer song from the 1980s, I'm so excited, I just can't hide it, and I'm about to make a YouTube video about it. I've just confirmed a trip to the Grand Canyon. Really cranked about this. A colleague and I hiked the Grand Canyon in 2014. At that time, we did it 2 days south to north and then another 2 days north to south. When you're a day hiker or even a weekend hiker on the AT, you see these through hikers and they're the badasses. So we were thinking, okay, we're going to be the through hikers in the Grand Canyon. We're the badasses. No, didn't work out that way. All during our hike through the Grand Canyon, we see these guys, these rim runners. These guys are doing 46 miles in a day. Crazy, crazy stuff. Now, I'm not nuts enough to attempt that. But we were thinking the entire time that maybe we could push ourselves to do 23 miles or half of it in a day. So this is it. We're going back. We're going to push ourselves to do a rim-to-rim hike in one day, which is roughly 23 miles. So my colleague that I previously hiked with, he now lives in Seattle. But he contacted me to do this. And so we're going to meet out there. He's going to bring his young boys. He wants to do this before they get too old. And they're going to take 4 days to hike south rim to north rim. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give them 2 days head start. And then I'm going to catch them on their third night in the canyon at a place called Cottonwood. I'll camp there, we'll climb the North Rim together, and then he and I, my colleague and I, will hike north to south in one day. So that's the plan. 2 days hiking south to north, and then 1 day hiking back north to south. When we hiked it in 2014, I knew nothing about geocaching. My wife and my daughter got me into it in 2016. That's part of my plans this time, is I'm going to spend a couple of days at the South Rim prior to setting out to catch them on their through hike. So I'm going to do some caching in the South Rim, and then of course on my way south to north I'll be doing some caching as well. So let's take a look at what that looks like on geocaching.com. Okay, so this is what it looks like on geocaching.com. You see on the South Rim at the Grand Canyon, we've got a virtual that's a little bit down the Bright Angel Trail. These virtuals and this earth cache, these are actually the South Rim. If I show the satellite view, you can kind of see, okay, yeah, this is up top, this is the South Rim. We've got an earth cache over here that is also up on the South Rim. Now over here we've got a multi-cache that's at the beginning of the South Kaibab Trail. And then down here where the Bright Angel Trail meets the South Kaibab Trail, we've got the only virtual in the the only traditional in the national park. And there's some other earth caches and virtuals over here. Now that looks well and good, right? But let's take a look. What does it look like on Google Earth? I've mapped these things out on Google Earth. All right, so here is our traditional. It's down at I think it's at the junction of a couple of trails down there, or really it's at the end of the Bright Angel Trail. You can see the Bright Angel Trail here. I believe it's in a rest house down there, and I think it's a book. So it's not strictly a geocache. It's also, kind of a hiker's rest type place. I saw some warnings: do not leave trackables in there because all hikers will see that place. Going back up to the South Rim, the Grand Canyon Village. So let's take a look now. Now here's that multi. If I turn on that multi, you'll see that the actual virtual of the multi is up here at the South Rim, but that the rest of the pieces take you down the the rest of the stages take you down the South Kaibab Trail to Bright Angel Campground, and then back north on the Bright Angel Trail. Okay, that's what this multi is designed to be. It's to take someone on a multi-day hike down South Kaibab Trail, back up the Bright Angel Trail. I've done all that. It's just that I've not done that. I've done the South Kaibab Trail in one day, stayed in the Bright Angel Trail, hiked to the North Rim for a couple of days, and then hiked back the Bright Angel Trail. Okay, and then we have a number of our virtuals. You can see the virtuals are spread out along the South Rim up here. I think one of them is, and there's a couple down in the canyon up here. We've got a 4-stage earth cache here this is still on the South Rim as well. 4 or 5 stage, actually looks a little worse than that, doesn't it? So we've got a multi-stage earth cache here on the South Rim. We've got another earth cache, which is over here on the South Rim. Another earth cache on the North Rim. I'll pick that up the night that I'm staying on the North Rim. I've booked a cabin in the Grand Canyon Lodge up there for that night. But I'll just hike down to these little trails here. It's really not far from the North Rim Lodge. Okay, but here's the problem. Here's the thing. There's one more cache, and this is a 5 difficulty and a 5 terrain, and you can see why. I think it's about 19 stages. So this earth cache is called Rim to Rim, and it is designed so that to log this cache, you have to do a rim to rim to rim hike. You're going to have to hike down the South Kaibab Trail, up the North Kaibab Trail, and then return via the Bright Angel Trail. So that one is going to be quite a challenge. I'll just have to make sure that I'm fully prepared with everything that I want to see, when I want to see it, in order I'm going to see it. That's what I'm thinking. I've got to have a cheat sheet with me to make sure that I don't miss any of these stages while I'm hiking. While you're hiking, I can tell you, you're focused on staying alive. You're focused on drinking enough water and eating enough food that you don't collapse. So, that's my plans for hiking and caching in the Grand Canyon. So, all goes well. I'll have my Arizona State souvenir from geocaching.com. I will have logged all of the geocaches at the South and North Rim, plus this multi plus that earth cache, this rim to rim earth cache. Stay tuned. Hopefully subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting a lot more about this as I go through my planning. And then, of course, I'll post as I can, probably after the hike, since there's no signals in the Grand Canyon. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.